The biggest challenge of our time is most certainly the climate crisis. It's in fact the biggest challenge in recorded history. But I think it's the biggest opportunity for New Zealand farming since the invention of refrigeration. I'm Geoff Ross. Myself and my family are the owners of Lake Hāwea Station. We're 6,500 hectares and we're one of 4 stations on Lake Hāwea. We take, I guess, the southeast corner of Lake Hāwea, and we run close to 10,000 fine wool merino and around 200 Angus cattle. I grew up on a farm, albeit in the North Island, a lowland dairy and deer farm. I went to university to be a farmer. I went to Lincoln, did a BCom in agriculture, but I guess got lured into a city role, which I thought was going to be for a short time. Took a role in an advertising agency because I really enjoyed that side, and then started 42 Below. My wife and I started that, and then carried on with consumer brands, either our own or ones we'd invested in. Yeah, we're thrilled to be in this part of the world and thrilled to finally be farming. Farming today, you need a massive broad skill set. We've always in farming had to be mechanics, stockmen, vets, accountants, agronomists, but now more than ever you actually also have to be an environmentalist. You have to be a very conscious capitalist. And I guess what we're now saying is you'll also have to have somewhat of a marketing understanding as well. So farming is full on. We knew we wanted to improve the environmental credentials here, and we wanted to be part of some way in healing the planet, but we didn't quite know how. My son quite early on started talking about carbon, and sure, I understood that the world needs to lower its carbon footprint. The world is going to need to decarbonise, but I didn't really know how we could have a role in that here on the station. We contacted some people on the emissions side, understood what we're emitting. We emit 2,500 tonnes of greenhouse gas every year from this property, which sounds like a big number, and it is. But then we did a lot of work on our sequestration through our vegetation, revegetation, through trees that we're planting. We planted over 15,000. We came up with our sequestration number, and we're sequestering well over 5,000 tonnes. So that makes us carbon positive. Regenerative pastures and regenerative agriculture, it's become a bit of a buzzword lately. In short, it's about more biology, not more chemistry. And soils are this beautiful ecosystem. You know, healthy soils means healthy pastures, which means healthy livestock. Rather than dumping a whole lot of synthetic chemicals on there and growing one species, we're all about increasing the biology and using multi-species to really set up a big network underground for exchange of nutrients. And yeah, it's pleasing to do it the natural way. Farming is viewed as somewhat of a problem in the climate crisis right now. I think a common myth in farming is that farming is at the expense of the environment, or vice versa. I think what we're trying to show here is that need not be the case. Almost half of New Zealand's emissions profile is from agriculture, so we can't ignore that. 40% of New Zealand's landmass are sheep and beef farms. So we can make a material difference to our country's carbon footprint, and a material difference, I believe, to our economy by charging a premium for carbon positive food and fibre. That's why we proudly put carbon clear merino on our bales that leave the station. And the cool thing for New Zealand farming, the exciting thing commercially, is that customers overseas want to decarbonise and they're prepared to pay more for it. And so that's why I think rather than farmers being defensive, often we've got to start looking beyond that at this real live and global opportunity. No one is exempt from acting to climate change, not countries, not companies, not individuals. And I don't think New Zealand farmers can justify some form of exemption. We didn't come here kind of waving a flag saying we're making change. We came here with a real interest in improving environmental values. And then a really cool byproduct of that is that we've realized that there are these fantastic new ways of farming. And so that's allowed us to open source and share this information and get an exchange going with a whole lot of farmers, because farming and the environment can actually be built constructively together. We're a farm that's actually helping to suck carbon out of the atmosphere. Farming is not the problem in the climate crisis. Farming is actually a solution to the climate crisis.